Howdy, everyone. Welcome to Stand-Up Analysis. I'm with an old friend of the show. We're going to be analyzing stand-up, seeing what we did, that we liked, what maybe we didn't like, and just analyzing everything along the way. If you like this content, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Before we get into the footage, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Lourdes Ayon, and I'm a comic from Sacramento, California.
Great. And before we dig into the footage, any context to give about this is what the audience was like, or this is how I was prepping the material, etc., etc.
Okay, so this is a special case. This is why I wanted to bring it to you, and I'm really excited about it. So I participated in the World Series of Comedy. I won first place the second round, won first place semifinals, and then here's the finals. And it's just top three, and I got number 3 here. There was a lot of differences from the first two presentations to this one. First and foremost, the host was different, and more importantly, I was different on the list in terms of the lineup. I was number 1. The host did time, but was a malfunction. Microphone went out, and the host stopped hosting and became technician for like 3 minutes. So you had nothing going on. When the microphone popped on, it was like I was going onto a cold audience.
Let's see how we navigate.
Make it loud for Lourdes. Ayon!
Las Vegas! Woo! So excited to be here. Hello. Yes, I'm Lourdes Ayon, and if
Okay, I like our walkout. Las Vegas. There was a little bit of an energy dip between us being like, Las Vegas, so excited to be here. Now it feels like I'm kind of talking instead of as conversational as I was just a second ago when I was celebrating your energy. Once again, for those watching at home, not terrible at all, but if we're trying to go like, you know, the most percentage points and if I'm... For this, because it's like the end of a multi-stage competition, my calibration of notes is like the most strict I would ever be. So with that, do we feel that sort of like that it was like, hey, we're together in this, but now this is now about me talking, that slight pivot in that moment?
Absolutely, because I'm already in my head. I'm not present. Like literally from the moment I walked out, I'm not present. I'm in my head already.
I mean, honestly, for faking it, this is about as good as someone could fake. Like great, love all this.
Las Vegas!
I mean, for being nervous, that's still a smooth mic move.
Yes!
Love all this. We're going woo to them.
So excited to be here. Hello.
And then we so excited to be here. Hello. And I'm so excited to be here. Hello. Yeah, my first joke is that drastic energy change that gives the game away that something has changed in here relative to us. So like no harm, no foul. But
I felt it. I definitely felt it. It was real.
Yes, I'm Lourdes Ayon, and if you haven't already guessed it, I'm super Mexican. I am. I was born in Tijuana, and I'm so Mexican.
And once again, the ratio of what we're watching to my notes will get more based on the stand-up. But right up top, we are a little bit, not terribly so, but once again, I'm like the most critical I could ever be of my notes. We're clipping a little bit into the audience when their reaction ends and when we start again. So it's not don't get me wrong, for the watching at home, it's better than still most, but we're clipping a little bit into interrupting them. For my mate, like, at least with this joke right here.
You guessed it. I'm super Mexican.
Oh yeah.
I was born in Tijuana.
Right? As far as the audience response to that thing, yeah. Wait, look, for those watching at home, I can understand, like, we got to get this first joke. We got to save the show. We got to call the weight of the world is on my shoulders. Like, as far as being a human in this element, 100%, we're still doing absolutely great. But yeah, if I'm seeing how the audience might not be like the most, okay.
And I'm so Mexican that when I was born, I cried like this. Hi, my voice is going away. What's going on? It just literally happened right now. Okay, that's fine. But yes.
Oh, interesting. This is a joke I've seen you do before. It's like one of our golden jokes. I would imagine it succeeds all the time. Like, my brain is a little confused about like what is happening, because I would expect a bigger response, and then we sort of went rambly to explain the cough, which as an audience member, at least from the the recording, I didn't necessarily feel any tension with how you said it. I was like, oh, that's how she did it. And then you sort of like attacked yourself on, that's not as good as it normally is. But for this audience, they're like, that was great. But I still think they should have had a bigger reaction here.
And I'm so Mexican that when I was born, I cried like this. My voice is going.
Yeah, maybe the I was or the how we reacted to it. I don't know. It could also be the recording relative to what it is in the room. Can you maybe weigh in on that?
The audience was thrown off. I'm telling you, by the microphone going off and having that lull of trying to fix it, and people were running around and scrambling to make it work. I think the audience really was thrown off, and so.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I could feel like I could understand if they're still in like a big shared trauma just happened mode. So I once again, I don't know why this isn't working the way my instincts are saying it should be working better. So as far as like, I could 100% agree with that hypothesis. You're going to continue?
Yes. So I'm thinking it was a microphone, but also I feel like it was legitimately me, because you called it. Like when I came on, the energy wasn't as high or as real, because I was faking it, because I was feeling very sick at that moment, very sick, and I was in my head thinking, am I gonna like be able to get through this bit? Am I gonna be able to do the singing or do the acting? Because I felt weak, because I felt tired, because I felt like everything was happening at the same time. And then when my voice kind of cracked a little bit, it shouldn't have been as much of a big deal as it was at that moment, but it was for me. And I think the audience was feeding off of my energy.
Sure.
And so I think it was me. I think it was me.
I could see us being like, oh, that the audience is also like, oh, like, is there something wrong? Like, so that shared sort of us reacting to it in a weird way, versus if we had maybe shuffled it under the rug a little bit, the joke maybe would have acted as it normally does for us, as far as great success all around. That is I think it's good that you mentioned. So a lot of times when people are doing stand-up, especially when they're starting as hobbyists, they're like, oh, it's great fun. But the thing about hobbyists to then professional, and like when you're getting paid to do shows, is like sometimes you don't feel like doing a show. Sometimes the most terrible thing happened to you in life 2 seconds before, and your bit is like, it's the best day ever. And so like it sucks, but yeah, there's like that forced fake it, and we will never be at our top moment. But once again, like I was saying, as our entrance for faking it, hey, we got it.
I was faking it as much as I could, and when I watched it afterwards, in my head it was so much worse. Well, like I felt like in this moment in my head, I was like, that's it. I should just drop the mic and leave. Like sure. It was so much worse. And when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, it wasn't even that bad. I could have just acted it out better.
Sure. Yeah. Once again, to those watching at home again, also very common that especially when like, I've just waited for eternity, but on stage everything is super fast paced. So us going like, feels like we just left silence for an hour, but we didn't. And then sometimes we're like, oh, the audience hates me, but the audience is like, oh, I'm a little confused. What are you gonna say next? So yeah, I 100% agree with all this. Okay, we're gonna watch a full minute, and then we'll see what's up after
going
that.
Away. What's going on? It just literally happened right now. Okay, that's fine. But yes, it's because it's so dramatic being born Mexican. It really is so dramatic being born Mexican. For the white people in the room, don't get scared. I got papers. Like, I gotta tell you guys now, because, like, these immigration rates are making me nervous, because I'm so fucking Mexican that I want to wear my naturalization certificate around my neck. Like Flavor Flav, but I want to be like, citizen. Hell yeah. I don't want to be taken. Like, no, I'm from here. I'm from here now. Oh man, but I love being Mexican, and I love speaking Spanish, and I speak with my hands, and I'm very expressive. And my favorite expression in Spanish is the ass sound, like eh.
Okay, we'll pause here before we go into the big ad joke. Yeah, I think I like the recovery of, oh, my jaw, I just lost my voice. Oh, yeah, but it's fine. So I like that we resolved that, oh, hey, it's fine. Let's not leave that tension in the room. But we do create a micro tension where anything can be the comedy. So if we're like, oh, I lost my voice, let me try. I need a prince to kiss this frog. Like, we could just easily make jokes about that to further resolve it and make that a comedy moment instead of, this thing just happened, everyone, well, let's just shuffle that on the rug. And now here's the real comedy, in which case the audience feels more that this thing was a mistake instead of truly recovering it, which is like making some sort of comedy moment out of it. Now, I don't know how tight your time versus time allotted was, so sometimes in our head we're like, I don't have time to do more about this because I'm already in the box with regards to all the words that I want to say. But I think that's one of the reasons why, because we had this frantic energy. It's like, let's get back to the programming. And what really showed in that is we didn't make a resolving joke on the thing about us losing our voice. Although we did resolve it, like, hey, it's fine. Any thoughts about that before I go to one other thing that I saw?
Yes, absolutely. There were so many things to call out in the moment. So many things to call that out and make a joke out of it. And also, I could have made a joke about the microphone going out to begin with at the top. Coming in.
So one of the biggest things I like to espouse about that opening moment is not only letting the audience feel seen and validated about their applause, but if there are any residual tensions in the room, like a server just spilled a whole glass of drinks, or the last comedian almost got in a fight with an audience member. A lot of times the audience is still like, is that thing okay? So if we can resolve it in their mind, we will feel like a hero, because the audience, I was thinking about that, will feel like a mind reader, and they'll be more comfortable to hit our set. So once again, no harm, no foul that we didn't necessarily activate it in the moment when the stakes are high and we want to hit it. But 100% agree, in an ideal world, yes, that is what really lets us succeed in spite of all the obstacles, and let us succeed only when the way is cleared for us. So 100% agree with that. Any other thoughts before I move on to one other thing?
Yes, and if I can say, at that moment is when I realized, like, oh shit, I need more work on stage. Like, I'm really not where I thought I was. I suppose, like, we're comics, we're doing a bit, and we do our bits, and we're on stage, and we're thinking we're so good. At least I think I'm so good. And then I'm like, there's so much.
I'll just sign it. Coach, she is.
And I'm like, I still need more. That's what I'm saying. That's what brought it back to me. I still need more work to do. That's when I realized, like, I'm not. It's not that I'm good at delivering jokes, but I'm not good at delivering jokes under duress, okay, or under, you know what I mean? Like, that was an experience.
So here's the thing that used to happen. I don't even know if you know this. I used to study singing in an opera studio for 12 years. Okay, who cares? Why do you bring this up, William? Because a lot of times, whenever we're in a stress situation, we're learning new habits. And in ideal situations, we can do new habit. But under stress, we tend to default to what's safe. And that usually is old habit that's bad. Additionally, we used to learn, as I practiced for 12 years, I would learn different songs, and depending on where I was in my progression, that song would be learned with a lot of different habits on it. So if I progressed for 4 years, then tried to sing an old song, there'd be a lot of I would not be able to sing it at my top new ability because it would be laden with old habits. So especially I could see maybe one of our classic jokes that we've been doing for a while because it served us so well in the stressful situation where there's a double stress mic situation, among other things, it might be more likely that we pop back into old habit inside of this vehicle because of our associations with it. And that's any skill of whatever we're trying to learn, unfortunately. But yeah, I could see that as being a rational. So like no harm, no foul, a human thing. And then the other thing that I think is maybe more controllable for us right now in our transition moment. We have a transition moment. I don't know what our future ones are, but we release a lot of free energy. So watch.
Oh man, but I'm.
Watch as we transition from one thing to this.
Hell yeah! I don't want to be taken. Like, no, I'm from here. I'm from here now. Oh man, but I am.
Oh man, that's like, hey, we're up here. Oh man, we had a balloon full of energy and we went for no benefit versus keeping the momentum. No, I don't want to be taken. I'm not from around here. Okay, next thing I want to talk about and riding that momentum in. Yeah, as far as a lot of the times, especially when someone is ending something and starting a new thing, just because we're code switching in our brain, a lot of people are like, anyways, or, and if the audience sees that, they don't necessarily attribute it the same way, so they're just like, oh, we're having fun up here, okay, no, now we're having fun down here on this sort of state of planes. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and look, I understand we were trying to activate a recovery line, and the audience was still being weird for us, so it didn't activate as well as I imagine it normally works for you. You're very charismatic, and I imagine a normal audience, we would probably get a full laugh on something like that. So additionally, like, here's the thing, oh, shoot, it's still not working, so I could see that, like, double tensioning us, so we maybe need a moment to be like, okay, let's reset. So as far as being human, no harm, no foul, but usually what I tend to try to recommend is if we have to take that moment of calm and composure, next thing instead of verbalizing it, which audibly changes the energy a little bit more.
Okay, I was understanding it as we shouldn't take it. We just keep going. But you're saying breathe and then move.
The worst thing that we don't want the audience to see. Imagine if I'm talking to you right now and all of a sudden, you're like, why did William need to am I causing that much tension with William? So we don't want the audience to see that because they're naturally going to attribute it with whatever this dynamic is narcissistically, they'll associate it with themselves. So as long as, look, I can take that same moment in a more filled way. I still took a moment to compose myself, but it doesn't have as much of an effect because there's not like a literal melody behind it that sort of has more of an energetic change to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot of that in this set.
Oh, well, once again, it's one of those things like as a human on stage, it'll never be perfect. We'll never get a perfect set. So I can understand us needing those calming moments. But if we want to have it, something that we can default to, so we can get better in our skill, so we still do those things that will inevitably happen, but not suffer as much from them. I found that taking them silently is a skill to latch on to for future progression. Just for most people, yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure
get
if
to
you
the
guys are
actual setup. Okay.
Expressive. And my favorite expression in Spanish is the sound, like eh. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that. It doesn't feel like it. There's a lot of whites tonight, okay? I'm getting accosted, okay? My voice sounds like the microphone now. Oh my God. Give me a new cable. Okay. All right. But yeah, so for those of you that don't know, the sound is like a really fun way to call somebody out. Right? But, or you can call yourself out. I could be like, hey, I can't wait to get to work on time tomorrow. I'm Mexican, I'm never on time for anything. or I could be like, hot take, Diddy's innocent. Pinche cochino. He absolutely did it. He absolutely did it. I wish that politicians would use this sound when they're out making their campaign promises, right? They're like, hey, right? They're like, hey, vote for me. I'll make your lives better. I won't. Or vote for me, sir. No inflation. Like, look at you trying to go places and eat at a reasonable price. I can't help you. Oh man, I think that's hilarious. I hate inflation.
Oh, you notice how we had that transition of the calming moment again. Other than that, I absolutely love this bit. We were vibing with the audience when they had slight interruptions. They were being heard. We were adding things on top. I don't know if we were doing this just by muscle memory, if we were actually listening, but I couldn't tell the difference. So you get the points either way. I like that we had if you go back in my channel, you'll see when we watched a different version of this bit. I like that it's so versatile that you can change the specifics to be topical, i.e. with the sort of like Diddy verdict and the Diddy trial. But whatever the things that are in the zeitgeist in the news, very easy for us to just put one there. Absolutely love it. Once again, if I'm being my most nitpicky, we could maybe put a little bit more parallelism in it, as in like Diddy's innocent. He did it. Oh, what's causing all this inflation? I did it. Like we could reuse the did it, I did it, he did it parts in the politician later in the joke if we want a little bit more percentage points on top with like, so like parallelism. Does it need it? No, it works great. But if someone was going to say, okay, let's spend 2 hours making this like the most optimized joke it could be, that's where my mind would go. The other places I would go, which we already sort of did, is making sure the audience feels seen. Who wants to go and eat? Who would want to eat at a reasonable price? As far as like something that talks to their experience, 100%. That's the other place we go, which is already in there. So we as far as optimizing a little bit more parallel in the ideology is maybe one route we could go, or a little bit more like I'm gonna end this bit. No, I'm not. We could also do a meta joke commenting on the joke itself if we wanted a little bit more percentage points in a different tactic. But honestly, jokes always fire. Your thoughts?
That I did the pressure release. Oh man, again. And I'm realizing now why I kept doing that, because I was feeling sick and I was feeling so maybe unreasonably less confident than I normally would, that I felt good about getting as far as this. So every time I say, "Oh man," I think it was me like, "Oh good, I got."
Oh, okay. I don't have to drop the mic and walk off right now. Okay, but can I make it the next 2 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I think it was
look,
one of those that was going on.
as you know, to gas you up and as a sort of like nod to your own professionalism, you're like, I was almost pressing the eject button the whole time. We just seem a little bit nervous, or it seems like our actual nervous was and the expression that the audience sees is like, okay. So honestly, great job. That a lot of people think. This is not towards you. This is for people watching at home. A lot of times when I work with people, this is our variant. So this is our best stand-up show. Let me get this point. This is our best stand-up show. This is our worst stand-up show. And when a lot of people think about getting better at stand-up, they just think about making the best show better. They're not really thinking about like this side of the equation either. But the more we can even though we're nervous, we can still fake it. We tighten our variance. We're bringing up the bottom of our set. So we are getting better. Maybe our better shows aren't getting better, but our floor is getting higher, which will make you more consistent, more professional, and more hireable. So once again, yeah. I know you didn't feel the best about this set, but if this is your worst, it's not. You know what? It's not anywhere near that bad. So all right, and that makes you much more hireable, etc., etc., etc. Just sometimes. Okay, just to make sure that I definitely get to the crucial moments which you wanted to speak about. Is there any time code I should flip to, or should we just keep going from current timestamp?
I can't recall. I think maybe at like 13, minute 13, 14, somewhere around there. Because I did this whole thing, and then I get to like minute 14, and then I somehow just, because I feel like I'm not connecting with the audience, and then I just throw in a joke that wasn't even a part of what I was thinking. I just thought it would work, and it completely did not work. The audience, I got a groaning, like, oh, that kind of a thing. And I was like, oh, why did I pick this joke? I just picked that joke out of the air. I think I was trying to get a bigger response from the audience, which I had been getting the last 2 days prior to that. And I wasn't getting, so I was drawing at straws, it felt like. And so I picked the wrong joke. I don't think I was assessing everything, because there was too many variables over me, weighing me down. Again, the satellite, the competition, the being sick, the not feeling 100%, and I was already feeling like I was bombing, so I felt like I was really bombing.
Sure, yeah. And to those watching at home, no one is 100% on calling the zeitgeist of the audience. We might have a high percentage, but there's always times like, I know how y'all feel. Nope. Ooh, I call it, you guys. Oh shit, we don't like bananas in this room. Someone's eating. No, really? Oh, you reluctant? But like, it's natural. It's the same thing. As long as we can up our percentage point, sure. But there will always be some times if you take a big swing, you might miss. And as long as let's see.
I see you. You don't have to lift your hand. It's fine.
Is there one?
I also see a lot of bleeders in the room. Las bleeders. Whatever. I'm just hating. I'm just hating. But yeah, like I said, I'm definitely like embracing this age. I'm having a lot.
Maybe it's like 14. Maybe it's 14. Up more.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. When I start talking about the underwear water.
Okay, but like, just to go back to the transition moments and the idea of keeping the energy that we have. Notice how even at the end of this bit, you are transitioning into the beginning of bits like, okay, that is sort of like subconsciously the subtext is forget about all the other bullshit I just said. Now we're sort of moving. So like watch, we serendipitously landed on it, but
I also see a lot of bleeders in the room. Las bleeders. Whatever.
Okay.
I'm just hating.
Whatever, I'm just hating.
But yeah, like I said, I'm definitely.
But yeah, and then it's like, I'm just hating. Instead of keeping that, I'm just hating. Now the next thing, instead of like, I'm just hating, winding down here. But anyways, completely shuffled that under the rug.
Yes.
The audience was vibing. Maybe they weren't vibing at the level we wanted to, but we made it work. Once again, I'm being super critical, but we made it worse by the subtext of how we off-ramped that joke and how we on-ramped to the change of topic. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
That looks good. So maybe I should do it. Like it look good. I do not want any of that shit on me. I'm telling you. Even when people get just a little bit of just a little eye lift, it still looks, you end up looking like permanently suspicious and shit. I just, like my friend had that done and I'm like, what's going on? Don't you trust me anymore? They're like, what are you talking about? Of course I trust you. And I'm like, nah. It's just scary for me.
Oh, I love that joke. I think we bailed on the fun too soon. Don't you trust me? What are you talking about? I think we could have stuck the face a little bit longer to let the wonder grow before we... Once again, I love everything about that joke, except if the pace was like this, I would have maybe gone like that with the in-between moments, so the audience had more time to wonder. Can I tell you what my current note to myself and almost everyone is that has helped on average with comedy, and maybe it'll spark something in you as well?
Okay.
So as much as possible in comedy, at least in my opinion, we're trying to use the audience as a co-writer. For example, the house was so scary. Now audience is thinking, what's scaring me? What's scaring me? It was full of Republicans! Ah! And they go, oh, okay, I see how that was scary. But they had time to wonder into the future, and so that we could pay off their wondering. So even this, don't you trust me? That doesn't look like a trusting face. So when we go, that doesn't look like a trusting face, the audience goes, that's catharsis because I was wondering the same thing. So whether it's slight timing to allow that wonder to build a little bit or making sure it's clear, a lot of times now in my own comedy, in my own focus, I'm trying to use the audience as much as possible to think about this for a second. What do we think about that? And they go, oh, and then we can get more catharsis rather than necessarily dropping things too fast or trying to sometimes over-explain on the back end of jokes. Does that make sense as a general concept?
Yeah, it does. And as a general concept, I do use the audience as a co-writer, especially when I'm writing new bits. And so if I'm writing something new and I do open mics, I legitimately, I think I take more time during open mics because I'm like, oh, this is a new joke and I really want to learn it versus this has to work.
Sure.
You know what I mean? This is a joke that works. And so I'm pushing something. And you're right. And I think that after hearing you say that, it's all the jokes, even the jokes that I think are already written and are well written, are supposed to bring about some sort of reaction that I'm not getting in particular from that audience.
Yeah, that's what, to me, that's one of the mind screws of stand-up is you have a joke, you have a cadence, it works 90% of the time this way, but no joke is 100%. It's always a bell curve, and it should in an ideal world, it should always be slightly changed and tweaked to this specific audience. But it's hard to know exactly which way to tweak it, and it's hard. So even our best jokes are variable, and nothing is definitive, nothing is solved. They just have a high hit percentage rate, and coming to terms with that, especially with some of our golden jokes, can be, after some shows, it can be like, no, it was the audience's fault. That joke it's worked 120 shows in a row, so I'm blaming the audience instead of me trying to recreate the dead version of it instead of really making a lifer. Couldn't possibly be me, but yeah, it's one of those things that, you just have to deal with, but 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to be careful and not blaming the audience, and this audience in particular helped me learn a lot. Sure. They did their job. They were like, no, girl, we're not feeling you, and I didn't do anything to create a space where they could really feel me.
Oh, so. I feel like that's a lesson that we all have to learn multiple times because time will, especially if we're good, time makes us forget it, right? Well, I can make any audience laugh. Yeah. And so we kind of take for granted some of the smaller things we do. We maybe rest and then you learn that lesson in a big way in one show. And then I'm like, oh, shoot. Okay. Yeah. Let me make sure that I give this its proper due. Trust me. I have me on film learning this, bombing almost the worst in my entire career exactly 1 year ago. And I was like, oh shit. It's an audience of, it's called Living Room Comics. We pitched a joke to a bunch of comics and then we punched it up. The next day we performed it in a living room. They promised us an audience of 30 people. It was 4 people on a couch for the recording audience. And the first thing I did is oh, it's really cramped up in here. We might as well be doing. I stepped towards them. And these people that didn't want to be there, that were already feeling trapped because they were on film, had a comedian invading their space, and they fucking hated me. But I was like, oh, this would be cute. Yeah, that's a cute move when I do my normal audience of 70 people and the people in the back aren't encroached upon and they can make up for the laughter of the nervousness I maybe made in the front row. But oh man, so anyways, punchline, I feel you. And I'm saying I feel you, and I'm saying, oh, I understand. I bet you in the next year I'll have to learn this lesson again on some show, unfortunately.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Too scary.
Same.
At this stage, I can go ahead and share. I could go deep into the brujeria vault of the family, and I can share with you guys a love potion that's been in the family for many, many years, right? So for you, if you want to get your man or your woman, but mostly for your woman, you want to go your man.
Our pace is a little fast as far as we're talking at the audience. So if you want to get your man or woman or both, I don't know. Like there's comedy here that it seems like we're trying to get to somewhere, so we're a little bit pulling the audience on this date faster than the pace at which they'd want to walk.
It's because I surprised myself by bringing up this joke. Like, why am I doing this?
Okay, sure. Yeah, no foul.
Man, you want to go out, grab your underwear? Okay, so agua de calzones is love potion that's in Mexico. It's called underwear water as well. So what you do is you grab your underwear that you've been wearing after you've been working out, and you get them nice and swampy, like you work out in these underwear, right? Then you run some errands in these underwear as well. And then you put them over the moonlight to have the moonlight go ahead and boil these underwear over the moonlight. And then the next morning, you serve that water to your man in his tea or his coffee. They're gonna love you forever.
I don't hate this audience reaction. It's a little bit like, but it's like an that wants to play with you. They're like, no, you didn't. Okay, this is the joke that didn't land? This is the worst joke you've ever told? And this
I
is the
felt
reaction?
like it wasn't I felt like it
yeah.
came out of nowhere. I
don't know if it was like, do a clean show in there, but that's all here.
That's how I got my man. Hell yeah. He's back there paying tickets and shit. He can come in for free, but he's, paid tickets.
And he's still drinking the tea. Cheers.
Want to make sure y'all are awake. That's good. You're awake.
I even like we're doing fun jokes in this. Okay, there's some minor optimizations of like.
But I love this.
And then but, and then hard stop. We were on a road trip.
Yeah.
We had fun in the passenger seat, and then we said, "Get the fuck out, fun. We're starting a new road trip. Like, leave it. Just continue the next journey." Those hard stops. It's like we have a weight this high, and all we need to do is lift it like this for the next joke. Those hard stops are us throwing the weight back to the ground. Now we have to get it back up here to go like this when we already had just one little jerk, and we would have been fine. Okay, with regards to this joke, I think it was here. I'll do what my internalized audience feels as we go through the delineation of information for this joke. Okay.
Moonlight, go ahead and you run some errands in these working out. Your man, you in the family for many, many years, right? So
first of all, we present the idea of it's been in the family for many, many years. We kind of don't pay abuela to abuela. Come here, let me share that forbidden secret. Like, we could play with this idea of it being passed along, but we make the audience wonder about that, and then we don't validate them wondering because we put that phrase in their head because we use those extra words. It could just be family secret. Right? Not passed down, but we spent the time to say that, so ideally we pay it off. Okay.
For you, if you want to get your man or your woman, but mostly for your woman, you want to go.
If you get a man, a woman, person, if you want to get a dog, I don't know.
You want to go out, grab your underwear.
Yeah, and even that, you want to get a man or 3 men. We're close to Utah. You want to get your 5 women? Whatever. Like, there could also be this, like, the math of what you're using in relation to what you're interested in. That's another joke. We don't have to, but there's an opportunity to play a game here instead of using this just as a stepping stone to get to some final destination. But it's like, right now it's sort of like we feel like the fun lives there, but the fun can live here and can live there. So we'll get to that fun, but we'll also have the fun in this moment.
Underwear? Okay, so agua de calzones is love potion that's in Mexico. It's called underwear water as well.
Underwear water? It's exactly what it sounds like. Even that beautiful, like.
So what you do?
The audience had a reaction, and you see how you kept going to explain instead of paying off?
Yeah.
That's a weird name for a thing. Let me validate that real fast. Here and now, we're still focused on the comedy that's in the future instead of paying off something. Once again, I still love this joke. I still think the audience loves this joke. I still like it. But if I was gonna be hired to optimize this joke, these are the moments that I feel like we had opportunities that we sort of like ran past.
You grab your underwear that you've been wearing after you've been working.
Even if you grab your underwear, for some of you ladies, maybe it could be like, what is the underwear that we're grabbing? That could be big, small. That could be the sexy holes in it. I don't know. What are you wearing? Blue Victoria's Secrets from the 2016 catalog. I saw you bend over earlier, girl. Like, there's lots of things that we could be doing in this moment of what underwear if we wanted more opportunities for laughs.
Working out, and you get
You start working out. I don't know. If we had, you start working out. Like when I forget my papers, oh, you're not gonna catch me. There could be a joke of how we're working out as well, if we want to, as far as other pieces of this that we sort of blaze past.
nice and swampy, like you work out in these underwear, right? Then you run some errands.
Even like nice and swampy. The audience like it nice and swampy, with that good juice. Yeah, twigs down there. It's so swamp. How swampy is it? What is it like to swampy? Other things that we could. You see how we could also be building out that metaphor, but we sort of pop it, and then we're so focused on some future destination that we're still dragging them instead of sitting in the comedy. Like, look, I'm a little swampy right now. I've been on stage for 15 minutes now. And that microphone moment. Oh yeah, it's good and moist. You see how there's more in that moment than the audience reaction? They wanted more.
In these underwear as well.
So.
Swampy, like you work out in these underwear, right? Then you run some errands in these underwear as well.
It's also like, what are the errands? You run some errands. You got to rehydrate. You got to fuel the swamp. D force, whatever. And every time So back to the point about using the audience as a co-writer, every time we mention something and we don't pay it off in some way, that's them wondering and being unvalidated for it. You have to go run some chores. I wonder what chores she would run. Never mention chores again. Oh, well then screw me that I spent energy manifesting that you put in my head by mentioning chores, right? So it's your unfulfilled promise to me as a writer. There's this old thing of one of my improv mentors used to say, and I promise I'll get to the point at hand, but comedy is it's a glass of water and we're dropping one drop of ink in it and watching how those tendrils of what if expand. When we're saying the chores and the swamp and the workout, we're dropping a bunch of drops in there and we can't see each drop evolve because it's all sort of blending together and muddying. So we're overusing it. For example, the way I usually portray it, imagine if we were starting a sketch, a movie, or an improv scene, and this relates to stand-up, but if I started the scene like this: hey, Gandalf, here's a laser gun. Let's ride these raptors to the moon where we're going to fight Voldemort. Optimus Prime will be there too. How does that scene continue? Is it Santa things? Is it Gandalf things? Is it Transformer things? And no matter how it continues, some of the audiences, I wish they did more dinosaur stuff. I've broken a promise to them. I wish they did more laser gun stuff. I put too many ideas in there that I can no longer fulfill all of them because I just squirted a bunch of ink in the glass. Now it's just dark black water in there and we can't see any more evolution. That make sense?
Yes.
All of that to say, is this terrible? No, but we are dropping hints. Like there's a loaded gun above the fireplace. Ooh, maybe that's Chekhov's gun. Nope, never comes up again in the rest of the movie. Oh, okay. Then why did they have that shot where they focused on it for 4 seconds? That confuses me as an audience member, so to speak. And we can have red herrings; those have a purpose too. But you get my point. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you put him over the moonlight to have.
Okay, what do we mean by the moonlight? We put it over the moonlight and then we boil it? My audience brain was like, we're using the moonlight to boil the water? And I, what? What? Did we talk about what the moonlight was before this joke?
No, that's the problem. Is because I messed up the joke because I didn't say that. The joke is you soak the underwear in the water and then you put it outside and let the moonlight, the full moon
Gotcha.
boil it. So now you have I usually say moon water. This is a new moon water, moon juice water. And so you grab that water and then you serve it in the drink.
So it's confusing me, even in this iteration of it. I get put it outside and let the moon infuse it. But my brain is like, let the moon boil it? Is the moon that hot in that part of the country?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? My mind's like, how is it getting boiled in the moon, right? That's the part that's confusing my audience.
Maybe infuse it.
Yeah. Like infuse it, like let the moon really get in there. You know, we've already used this moon, meaning my ass, and now we're using that moon. It's a double moon brew, whatever. But the moon boiling it had my audience brain like, whoa! And that's a big tension because I was like, what the? Okay, great.
The moonlight, go ahead and boil these underwear over the moonlight.
Okay, so
and then
not
the
boiling.
Next morning,
I'll
you
use
serve
infuse.
that water to your man and his tea or his coffee.
His tea, his coffee, his Red Bull, just get that inside of him. All right, waterboard him with it. I don't care. You need that. There's things we could go on further. Okay, great.
They're gonna love you forever.
Great, and I love this. The audience is loving this vibe.
That's how I got my man. Hell
Great, and we're 100%. There's extra jokes. We make it personal.
yeah.
Great. So I got my man. I see some more underwear water in the audience. Oh, 100%. You don't deserve him, madam. Underwear water or whatever. We could have also dug into
Back there paying tickets
Okay. We went into the
and
audience.
shit. He can come in for free, but he's, paid tickets. Want to make sure y'all.
I feel compelled to. By the way, do you have more of this water? Well I don't know.
We're awake.
Working on a new batch right now. Ooh, like there's lots of This is me wanting to play the game, but yeah.
You're awake.
Once again, the only reason I can do so many of these opportunities in the follow through is because it's such a good joke and it puts so much energy in the spring. So you're like, this is the worst joke that I ever said. It's the biggest bomb I ever bombed. But there's we could have even mined more gold from this gold mine. We were still taking extra crack at it in the follow through moment. So I was expecting something way worse when you explain this.
Can I just say something about that? Just really quick. And I don't know, this may be helpful for the comics, but I find myself that when I share certain types of comedy, if it's either close to my culture or if it's close to who I am, or it hits a nerve, there's some sort of certain comedies will hit a nerve. Certain things that I say will hit a nerve. And I feel a certain way about them. And so let's say this is a cultural perspective and something that people talk about and have used. And when it hits this nerve where there's a feeling behind it, what is it? It could be shame. It could be insecurity. It could be however I'm going to be perceived, or I don't want to be judged because this is so crazy, this concept of underwear water, and now I'm sharing it with the world. Maybe I don't want my culture to be judged and I don't want to be seen, so there's so many things there as well that I think build into my ability to securely or efficiently or maybe more I don't know, to be able to deliver the joke better because I'm feeling insecure about it.
So the one thing that I might say about that is, look, there's all sorts of things where we have complicated emotions towards. I love that moment. I hated that moment. A lot of times, where it most often manifests when I'm working on stand-up with people is big moments. Like I suddenly got punched in the face. That's a real fast moment that we might have multiple opinions on. So this is different, but I promise it'll come back to what we're talking about here. In a moment where it's a fast action, a lot of times if you slow down that moment, I could see that. There's a great Chris Red bit where he talks about getting punched in Chicago because he was hanging out with his cousin's gang. I saw that fist coming towards me. Oh, that's gonna hurt. I should have just stayed in school, Mom. I didn't want this. Oh, he can take multiple bites. Let me make sure I get my mic back. Woo, I ruined my own moment. With regards to speaking of mic troubles, it's not just the world of comedy. Oh, hey, resolving the moment. Oh, I should have stayed in school. Ooh, I'm never going to get... But you see, I can take multiple bites out of the apple of how I feel about this moment by slowing it down. Similar to you and the striking a nerve, at least in my opinion, it is up to you and your comedy voice. But if you have those multiple opinions, we could share that with the audience. Don't you judge Mexicans. Don't you... Oh, this crazy... I don't represent all of us. This is just my crazy abuela, my crazy tia. That's for me, that's opportunities for extra jokes by sharing that vulnerability. And, there's lots of things in life that are complex. And I think speaking of that complexity is additive instead of us trying to get the most crass, easy to consume, only one bite at the apple version of the joke. At least as a general rule of thumb. I know it's much harder to activate than it is to theorize on. Your thoughts?
I appreciate that. I have a hard time being vulnerable in general, and comedy's teaching me how to be vulnerable. But being vulnerable in the moment on stage to call out those emotions, it's a skill as well. So to call it out as I'm feeling it, and how I'm feeling it, but sometimes the emotion is very complex that I can't call it out. I don't know.
It's hard to stick words to it, especially in the fly. And for those watching at home, that's one of the things that like is fun, but also so hard about stand-up is, we want to seem cool and in control, but you also have to be vulnerable, which means some sort of like confessing what you don't want to confess and releasing control. And so this is this like dichotomy that we have to juggle, and there's no easy way to put it. It's like, yeah, it sucks and there's multiple layers to it. And I feel like that's one of those skills that no one ever ever done. We're maybe getting better at it at more finite slices, but we're never like, I solved it. That's a skill I don't have to practice anymore. I can't have any more progression in that skill. It's just you get better and better and better at it. But I could 100% those complex emotions. If we're like, oh, I dropped the mic, me dum-dum. That's an emotion very easy to contextualize. But like the feelings of my whole life as a Mexican and people's feelings towards that and me wanting to represent them but also be my own person, much harder to put the words behind in the proper way that also resolves the moment while we're trying to look smooth in front of the audience and keep everything bite-sized. Right. Yeah, it's no. The only solution I would have to that is we couldn't do it for the first time. Ideally, it's something we've maybe talked about enough that we have some hooks into how we feel. So if it's a new bit, I'd put the difficulty on almost impossible. But if it's a bit that we maybe have put some tracks on that groove, then we might be able to attack it. Yeah. But
okay.
Okay. Any other specific areas of import that you're like, this? I definitely want to look at this, or should we just ride it out to the end?
We can write this one out to the end. That's fine.
Okay, sure, great.
But I love this whole stuff about trying to feel young, and I love
and just because it's the note. You notice again the transition, but new thing as far as it's one continuous road trip where we got fun in the car, and then fun just stays in the car the whole time.
Yeah.
We keep starting a new road trip, and so we have to keep finding fun along the way, and it's just us lowering our own momentum.
But very choppy.
Credit to you that you keep finding fun, but it's difficulty that you've laid on yourself because we kick fun out of the car.
Yeah.
I love thinking about my youth, because when I was in college, I used to babysit for this.
So just because I'm trying to maintain constant themes, so we have sort of like a recurring frame with that idea of using every piece of it. I like thinking about my youth. I used to be able to get underwear real swampy. There's jokes here if we want with regards to what is it like when you think about your youth. Do we have to be this optimized, and do we have to make it this one thing punch, one thing punch, one thing punch? No, but right now for this whole set, I would say we're a little bit on the fatty side of toys we present to the audience versus toys we actually play with. Yeah, as far as ideas presented. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, like beautiful, wholesome family. And I felt like a foreign exchange working for them.
Wholesome family. Always did their dishes. Never yelled except on the holidays. What is the picture of a wholesome family? Like there's another toy we've sort of presented and not paid off. Once again, we don't have to pay off all of these, otherwise it might get too hyper optimized. But I'm just showing all of the opportunities for moments that could, in another comedian set, just as easily already be the payoff, already be the game, already be the fun, instead of just a stepping stone to some future game.
A foreign exchange student working.
Okay, let me just make sure I set up the pieces because I am being.
That's how I got my man. Hell yeah. He's back there paying tickets and shit. He can come in for free, but he's paid tickets. Want to make sure y'all are awake. That's good. You're awake. But I love this whole stuff about trying to feel young, and I love thinking about my youth, because when I was in college, I used to babysit for this amazing, like beautiful, wholesome family. And I felt like a foreign exchange working for them, a foreign exchange student working for them, because culturally we were so different. Like they introduced me to The Sound of Music. I introduced them to Hoochie Mama by Two Live Crew. It was a wonderful exchange of ideas. And while I was...
Yeah, even there, like for the, I'm pretty sure I know that song, but off the top of my head, it's not visceral. We could have given the, and for those who don't know, boom, you could have maybe given us a little bit of it for like, I don't know if Zoomers know that song, so the impact to them might be like, oh, that's a song, versus like, oh, how different than The Sound of Music is it, et cetera, et cetera. It's a way to help it maybe hit more visceral. Do we have to? No, but there's an opportunity there. Because I know you're not afraid to actually sing it.
Yeah, I'm not. That's a good idea.
Working for them, it was really neat. I babysat for this too,
and I especially because you notice how we just went with a lot of exposition to like one payoff of the Hoochie Mama song, and now we're back to like, and now here's a bunch of exposition again. So it like the payoff moments I think need to be bigger and longer, so it will hold all of this exposition if we're not going to pop the ideas along the way. Does that make sense? Because this is starting to feel like this right now it feels more like storytelling than stand-up, this whole bit.
Okay.
Yeah, in my mind.
5-year-old girls, they didn't let the kids watch TV. They would only let them watch listen to soundtracks. And so we were listening to
Even you with it, you're like, and this, and then blah, blah, blah. You're kind of saying like, this is not important, subconsciously, a little bit. With the way you're saying it, because you're like, I got to get past all this bullshit so we can get to the fun. The fun isn't here. The fun is later. So can we just go do all our homework right now so we can do the? But this could just as easily be the fun in another set if we punch it out the right way.
all old movies, Sound of Music, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and Mary Poppins. And one day I had this whole party with the girls, a dance party, because I got bored of their music. That's when I did, we ain't nothing but a hoochie mama, hood rah, hoochie mama with the girls.
Oh yeah. I think we should. Yeah, we could have done it with the payoff.
Faster.
Yeah. When we originally did the song, yeah.
So it was a lot of fun.
Even this, you blazed past it, but I was getting bored of their song. I was getting the band just ain't nothing but a hoochie mama. Like you could have been full on turning around twerking to show how much more exciting your song and dance was. But you sort of just like, here's the idea of it. Okay, now we're past it. Instead of really making it a big moment, tentpole in its own right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to, at least subconsciously, it feels like we're trying to get to some future destination. So I'm trying to enjoy our walk. And you're like, no, we got to get to the fountain at the end. And you're kind of dragging me faster than I want to walk.
Okay.
I went home the next day. The mom said, Lourdes, you're such a great babysitter. I was like, thanks.
Oh, I mean, sorry, keep stopping and pausing. But also, like, if we're saying this mom, that this is such a wholesome family, I feel like the mom shouldn't have our vernacular. Lourdes,
okay.
I don't agree that my daughters should be doing this hoochie mama dance. Whatever version of wholesome or overly polite or pearl clutchy you want. But I feel like doing it in our vernacular is a disservice to what this bit could be, personally.
Got it.
Thank you.
Oh, fuck. And fuck me. No. We, never mind. We changed it immediately.
You're such a great babysitter. I was like, thanks.
Oh, no, that's
Thank
us.
you.
That's us doing
That's
it.
me,
Thank you. I thought
yeah.
that's right.
The girls are having such a good time with you. They really are. And I just have one question. What is a hoochie mama?
Yeah, we did it on Hoochie
And I
Mama, but
was
not
like-
the rest.
I was like, oh
And
my
I think it would land harder on Hoochie Mama. Like, I just have one question for you. What is a Hoochie Mama? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it would help a little.
Yeah.
God, I was so nervous. She totally, completely caught me off guard. And I was like, okay, well, hoochie
Even that with a nervous, you could show us nervous instead of telling, what is a Hoochie Mama? Ooh, uh-oh, ooh, I'm in trouble. Ooh. You could show us the nervousness instead of, I was so nervous right there. I was so nervous, I was pissing my pants. Ooh, I made my panties so swampy that day. That's the day that before I made, you know what I'm saying? We went a little bit into like overly verbal narrator mode instead of showing us that nervousness in a more visceral way. That makes sense, at least for my money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
mama is like a inner city young lady with a suburban with a passion for survival. Like, I don't know. I didn't know. So I was like, okay, what are you?
Oh, even that, I think Hoochie Mama is this, and it's and passion survival, and stereotypically it is used, although there is some complex political dynamics about people using it as a fun. But like I think we could have gotten more juice out of the squeeze of that. Just her, like either like pointing to the audience or giving like an actual example of a celebrity you want to like dog on or whatever. There's lots of angles for it, but I think there's more juice in that squeeze in multiple different angles we could go than what we're currently paying off for my money.
For survival. Like, I don't know. I didn't know. So I was like, okay, what are you, I want to watch Sound of Music. I've never seen it. Can I please watch this movie with the family? And they said, yes, absolutely. So we sat down and watched the movie, and then the Sound of Music came on. You guys familiar? I'm sorry, My Favorite Things came on. You guys familiar? These are a few of my favorite things. That song came on, and I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like, this family has all these things that I've never really seen. They have structure and timeouts, right? And they have, what's it called? Compassion for their kids. Like, they have that kind of stuff. Like
Never seen it.
This is this kind of stuff that I've never seen before. Like, I grew up with a lot of chaos and anxiety.
Yeah, but you see how my version, I mean, not to compare but you see how my version was more emotional and quick, and yours was, I've never seen that before, and yours was more overly wordy and contextualizing the emotion instead of feeling the emotion in the response. Same idea, same sort of like follow through with the punch, but I think one hits harder because it allows the audience to be more vibey instead of, ooh, let us synthesize all these words into the ideas properly and then feel emotionally, logically towards them.
Yeah.
And then when the song came on, I thought, what if I were to write a song about my childhood to the tune of My Favorite Things?
Okay, I can see why we wanted to like get to this final bit, especially because to be fair for those watching at home, this is a 20-minute set. I'm sure you had a sort of like a time or like a light or something, and so like I can understand us maybe not getting to play the most amount of sub games when we're building to our big conclusive ending, and we know we're potentially running out of time. So if there's ever a part in the set when there's an open heart and forgiveness for maybe being a little bit too draggy the audience, it's a longer set when we're trying to build up to some big finale that we don't want to get clipped at the end of our time. So as far as forbearance, a lot of this in the ideal version, I'll hold to it. But as far as giving the specifics, a little bit more forbearance is needed. So
but I changed the word favorite to traumatic. Like, what would the sound of my music be like? Okay, so I wrote it. You guys want to hear it? Okay. But I need you all to...
Oh, even that, you ask them, do you guys want to hear it? And they go, woo. And then you sort of like negate, like, thank you. Like, we ask them a question, and then we don't really listen. We prep for the next thing. So we kind of use the audience. There's a thing my dad does that I hate. This is sort of like, there's a minor version of it. I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to give me like a 3-sentence response. I'm going to ask you, hey, what did you get the last time you went to a store? So you can prep that answer in your head. Are you ready for this exercise?
Yes.
Yes. What did you get the last time you went to the store?
I picked up orange.
Today I got ginger ale, and I got so many. That's what you're doing a little bit to the audience when you ask them, like, do you guys want to hear it? And they're like, woo, and then you keep talking over the woo that you pimped out by asking them if they wanted to hear it. We're using them a little bit.
Wrote it. You guys want to hear it? Okay.
Woo, I do want to hear it. Oh, shit, now I need to shut the fuck up.
Just a hook. Like, these are a few of my traumatic things. Ready? Let's do a quick little try. Ready? 1, 2, 3. These are a few of my traumatic things. Oh, beautiful. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Yelling and screaming and bruises on tushies. Darkness is scary and nightmares are pushy. Forgotten at school while my dad has a fling. These are a few of my traumatic things. Barbie dream houses and easy bake ovens. Stolen for drugs by my favorite cousins. Growing up porno vacations in spring. These are a few of my traumatic things. Family reunions with fighting and clashes. Teardrops that stay on my face and eyelashes. Promise of family divorce clip my wings. These are a few of my traumatic things. When my man cheats, when the rent's late, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my traumatic things, and then I don't feel so bad.
Great vibing, and celebrate us.
You guys, clapping at my trauma and shit.
Great commenting on it, great. And as everyone watching at home, you watch how she's focused on the audience and activating a joke while she can move the mic stand. Ooh.
In my time, my name's Lourdes Ayon. Thank you so much.
Do we do an outro moment? We talked about this the last time. Do we do an outro moment? No, you're looking at the host. Oh no, we love you. We're not looking back. We don't look back at the audience. Whoa, no, we talked about this last time. What? You're like, that is whack. I'm gonna never do that again. Excuse me. Once again, for something this formal and this big, hey, I don't hate it. But if we really want that cherry on top, I wasn't. And I love big endings that culminate in like a show-stopping moment that really, this is a bigger thing than anything else that happened, so it feels more cathartic and conclusive in the ending. If I was going to be nitpicking on the ending, I think there could be some moments where we break out of the song to comment on it. Cousins that blah blah that steal by my cousins. True story. Ba-da-da-boo-doo. There could be moments like that where I help a lot of people with musical stand-up. I've been doing musical improv for over a decade. A lot of the problems with songs is we get trapped in the song, and so the comedy can feel lateral. Like some of those verses, we could change the order, and it wouldn't necessarily, like, I wouldn't feel like anything's out of place. Versus if something was clearly heightening, smallest to biggest, you cannot change the order because the math wouldn't work anymore. So if we want to heighten in ways when we have lateral verses like that, we might need to like to pick moments about stole by my cousins. It doesn't even have to be verbalized with that's a true story, but we can pop out of being stuck in the performative song to be back in the room here and now with us more. Does that make sense? As far as subtle moves like that. And if I was going to try to most optimize to make it feel like the end of I don't know, did we talk about any of this stuff in the 20 minutes, or is this all new information for the audience, the traumatic things?
No, it was brand new information.
Because some of the traumatic things like boiling my underwear to get a man. These are like we could be using things that are big callbacks to the bits. Not the whole thing, because we want things that are in our childhood in the song, but we could also use this as a vehicle for some of our biggest moments to repop at the end, which might give us a few percentage points. Is it needed? No, but right now these verses do feel sort of lateral in that, if anything, I think the cousin was one of the cleverest one, but it's like the second one, so the things after that aren't quite as logically clever, so it almost feels like a little bit the song. I don't think this is me being super nitpicky, but it just does feel like ideologically the cleverness dies a little bit in the middle. Not that it's terrible, it's just not as clever as the one before, so the joke isn't heightening, and a joke is either heightening or it's dying. So we either if I don't want you to feel nervous about it, because it's a great bit, and I imagine it'll always land for you. But if you know these things, anyways. Having talked about hard stop, kick that. Luckily, it wasn't fun. It's a judgment, and I am kicking it out of the car, so we don't have it on this part of the road trip. Having said all that, having walked through the set together, any thoughts on your end about any of the things we talked about in relation to this, about what you wouldn't do next time, about your feelings towards the set, et cetera, et cetera?
The set helped me understand. Well, first and foremost, way worse in my head than what I'm actually seeing. So definitely must watch videos every single time after it's a lot of people don't like to, but you have to. I think it's important because the difference between how I felt this performance in my head and to what it looked like, night and day, including the I think the amount of maybe laughter. I felt I was getting zero laughs. And so definitely really important to watch the video. The other thing that I learned is definitely very important to call out exactly what's going on in the moment, regardless of what I had written, what the set was supposed to be written. I think had I called that out, I would have been more comfortable, and I would have made the audience more comfortable, and then the set, and I would have been more comfortable saying the rest of my set. The being sick part, I mean, I was sick. I just worked through a bit being sick, and that's that. But the other thing is that I didn't sound as bad as I thought I sounded in my as well. And so.
Oh yeah. To be fair, once after that cough moment, especially since we finished on the song, until you just said this now, I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot that we were sick,
the whole
and
time,
we ended with a song. But so like yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why I was really concerned because my voice cracked at the beginning, and I knew I was gonna the middle. I just wanted it. Let me just do it. I don't know. It's a crazy moment of the most insecure I've ever felt on stage in pushing something through, because you know the competition, because of this. But there's too many variables. But I appreciated watching it, and I appreciated hearing your comments, because I think that further confirms that it's always worse in my head than what it's real. I
think there's this my voice teacher, speaking about studying opera for 12 years, he used to always say we have to judge our failures in light of our successes. So we get a certain spot and we feel like that was the worst show I ever did, and what we really mean is in recent memory in the past 3 months. But if we're really good, as you are, even that worst show of 3 months is like other people be like, I wish I had a show like that. So it's like we have to view the relative bad for us in relation to the total progression of our entire skill set. So what's easy, it's a lot easier for me to do for other people than it is for me to do for myself. So easier said than done. But yeah, 100%, I agree. Any other
Yeah.
final words about the set? Any words of parting before we sort of like resolve session and we let each other go their separate ways? And hey, look, if we do part 3, that I only care about. I'm gonna start the whole session by going to the final part of your set and watching that outro moment. But anyway, back to you.
I do have another satellite in Sacramento for the World Series of Comedy, and then there's the I don't know, the main event in September sometime. So I'm somewhat practicing for it, but also I'm practicing being a comedian in general as well. So it's not just, it's a combination of a lot of things. So I appreciate you taking the time to
Sure.
to
Yeah,
look
yeah.
at this and
Once
help
again,
me in that
if
journey.
you need any, not that you would need it, but if you want any extra eyes on anything before that, happy to help. Just reach out.
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much.
Any words of parting for the sort of like filmed entity?
This was a fantastic experience, even though it felt awful in the moment. But it was a great experience after the fact. And even more so, you've highlighted that in this going through it. So thank you.
Cool. Great. If you've made it this far, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to watch the rest of this, I can have a link in the description, whether that's to your page or their page. Hey, I'll figure that out after the fact. And more videos will be popping up. Watch more of this content. You can watch the other episode of us analyzing some of these same jokes on a different set, including that outro moment. But it's been a pleasure, as always. One of my absolute favorite comics. Make sure to follow her as well. And it's been a great episode. Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Bye.